Hour with Bob, the #1 variety show in Southern New England. Bob's guests tonight include Ken Block, the Fat City Band, and me, Cindy Burke, Mrs. Rhode Island America 2015. Here he is, the Johnny Carson of cable television, Mr. Variety himself, Bob Venturini.
Whoa.
Here's Bob.
Oh, that was a good one. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing great. Long time no see.
It's been what? It's got to be 20 years.
Just a minute. We make it a point to try and get here every quarter century.
Every
Yes, we want to be on your show.
Now, the Fat City Band's been in existence for how many years?
This is, by my calculations,
40?
it's year 41.
Are you kidding me?
41.
41 years?
Yeah, indeed.
Oh,
And
my
here we
God.
are. Yeah.
Because we were talking about it. John Flanagan and I were talking about it early this evening, and I said, the Fat City Band's coming in again. He says, when were they last here? I said, it's been a while.
We played at his high school prom, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and he's ready for retirement.
Exactly. He's on Social Security already.
He is. So the Fat City Band is, how many members here? How many members?
There are 7 of us now.
7 of us.
We've expanded, yes.
Yeah, you have. And you got horns and everything.
We have a horn section. We're motoring right along.
Yeah, you
And
play
having a
all
good
over the
time.
place. You play all over
We
the place.
do, and we play in your great state,
State of Rhode
on a
Island?
regular basis.
Yeah. I know.
In 2 weeks, we're going to be at Chan's in Woonsocket.
Chan's in Woonsocket.
May 2nd.
May 2nd, and then you're also going down near Narragansett Cafe.
We play at the Ganny occasionally. We're
in
there,
Jamestown, right? That's in Jamestown?
June 27th, is it?
June 27th. Really?
You know how people can find out about this?
How? How
Just
can they
go
find
on
out about the Fat City Band?
FatCityBand.com. And
Is that
do the
easy?
Facebook
The?
thing with
Do
us.
they have to put
They'll
the?
know before I know
Wait a minute
where
now.
we're going to be.
Wait a minute now, Paul. Is it the Fat City Band?
Yes, it is. The Fat
It's
City
the
Band.
Fat City Band.
Put
No,
the
it's
article
not.
in there.
No, the website is fatcityband.com.
See?
Oh, all right.
FatCityBand.com.
FatCityBand.com.
Paul
That's the
Redmond
website,
and,
yes.
and why don't you give me? I know who you are, and I know who a few of these guys are. You got a couple newer guys, but most of the guys I remember.
You wanted me to introduce these?
I think you should. I
These
think you should.
characters? Well, let's start with the guy
The
who's
drummer?
been with the band the
longest.
right there. The unsung hero, Mr. John Litwin.
He's right
on
there.
the drums back there.
Hi, John.
Hello, Bob.
I'll give us a little whack on the drums.
All right.
Who else?
Let's go over here to our guitarist, Mr. Mark Anderson.
Mark Anderson. We got a shot of Mark. We don't have
He's,
Mark. There he is.
He's from Massachusetts, but was one of those Nashville guitar pickers. Was the guitarist for the Dolly Parton band, and it actually
As he was?
Yes. And I know where you're going with this, Bob.
I'm not saying
yes,
anything.
They're real. Yes. Then let's go over to the man who holds up the bottom for the band, Mr. Joe Baglioni on the bass.
Now wait a minute. You said he holds up the bottom. I know the
Yes,
bass. I
that's,
know what you're saying.
Musician
the bass.
lingo.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah,
sound
yeah.
cool. Joe Baglioni on bass.
All right, now tell me who's over here.
Let's go behind the keyboards over there.
He's hiding.
Mr. Shane Wood, a Rhode Island native, as a matter of
Come
fact.
on,
Mr.
Cumberland,
Shane Wood.
Cumberland,
Rhode Island, a jazz dude, and he's joined the band. We're glad to have him here. And
Wow.
yeah, let's move on to these characters right here. On the tenor saxophone, Mr. Tucker Antel. Tucker Antel.
Tucker
tenor for-
Antel?
Exactly.
From where? Where does he hail from?
Originally New Hampshire, grew up in Florida, and then moved to Podunk, Idaho, and now he's back here in Boston with us.
Idaho. Where did he come up with that? Is that
I don't know. I pulled that one
Podunk,
out.
Idaho? And who else is
And
with him?
the newest member of the band on trombone, our bone man, Mr. Clayton DeWalt. And here's the interesting fact about him. Just a mere 3 weeks ago, a month ago, he became a dad for the first time.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yes, little Fletcher
Wow.
Frederick DeWalt made an entrance.
Congratulations.
In the world, and that's,
Congratulations.
Clayton on bone.
Hey, by the way, what'd you think of Mrs. Rhode Island doing the opening there?
I did. I thought it was Miss Rhode Island, but now Mrs.
No,
Rhode
it's
Island.
Mrs.
That's
Rhode
very
Island. You
good.
watch yourself.
Hey,
It's
you know,
Mrs. Rhode Island.
I remember her. She used to work at Chan's, as a matter of fact, back in the day. And she had mentioned that earlier. And,
Really?
Yes, indeed. So it's all family here.
It all comes back.
Yes.
It all comes back.
It all comes back.
We're in Rhode Island. We do hail in Massachusetts. We do play in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
We play in the Fall River area in Massachusetts. The show is there, and it is on YouTube everywhere.
Great.
So people
We're
can
proud
see
to
this.
be part of it.
And
Every 25 years. We
every
wanna be
20
part
years,
of
I
this.
want you back here. 20
Okay.
years anyway. 20.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
Okay.
What kind of stuff do you do? What is your?
All our music, it isn't succinctly defined in just one phrase, but it's usually blues-based. Everything we
Blues-based.
do. We started, the original name of the band was the Fat City Blues Band.
Right.
We found it a little too limiting,
Right,
when we were
exactly.
out there, so we just cut it down, truncated it, so to speak, to
You
just a
truncated
Fat
it?
City Band. Write that down, boys, and look that word
Trunk,
up. Okay.
truncated.
Truncated the. So now it's the Fat City Band, but we try and keep most of our stuff on the bluesier end of the spectrum.
Now, you played a lot of the festivals, especially in Massachusetts. And, right?
Yes, and we have a couple coming up. I noticed that you had some servicemen sign your poster back there.
Right.
We're playing the Veterans Festival down at Dennisport sometime in the summer, the Onset Blues
Yes.
Festival. down
When
at
is
Cape.
that, you know?
They're both in September, I believe. Yep.
September.
And let's see.
You got something in Hull, Massachusetts, I
the,
heard. I heard something
the
in
C
Hull.
note
Did I
in
hear Hull?
Hull, good in Hull, it's good.
Like
good
that
vibe.
town, a great town,
Yeah.
Hull, Massachusetts.
And we used to play at dozens of places across your fine state, and still do occasionally, and
Yep.
looking to get
And
back at a few
and
places.
down Block Island. I've seen you on Block Island
You know
before.
what?
And Newport.
I used to keep that a secret. I didn't want people from Massachusetts knowing about what a gem Block Island is. We used to
Right.
play at the Yellow Kittens.
Oh, there you
which
go.
I guess they're defunct now, but we're looking to get back out there if there's any
Well, maybe you
music
can,
rooms
how
out
about
there.
the Spring House? You can play at the Spring
We
House.
played a couple of concerts there over the years
Yeah.
with Roomful and some other people down there. That was a while back now, so we're due for the next loop to get back out onto the island and other places down there.
You got that, folks? It's time. It's time.
It's time.
The Fat City Band. Give us a song. Can you give us a song?
I think we can do that. We just happen to bring some instruments.
You did. You
Let's
brought
put
a
on a
few.
show.
You brought a few. All right.
All
The
right.
Fat City Band, folks.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
When she walking on down the street, all the guys they sneak up peek, and I'm so proud to know she's mine. She's turning heads, just looking fine. Oh yes, she rocks. My gal, she's hot. She rocks, she's hot. Oh yeah, she really rocks. You won't believe how the people gawk. They stop and stare, the traffic stops. So check it out, I'd recommend. Just who could doubt my gal's a 10? Oh yeah, she rocks. My gal, she's hot. She rocks, she's hot, oh yeah. She really rocks. Did I mention that she can dance? Bumping Grammy into a trance. I watch her move to rock and roll. She always sends me out of control. Oh yes, she rocks. My gal, she's hot. She rocks, she's hot. Oh yeah, she really rocks. She's the sizzle, she's the steak, she's the icing on my cake. Her loving hits me like a drug. Maybe I'm just a little bit smart, but she rocks. My gal, she's hot. She rocks, she's hot, oh yeah. She really rocks. She rocks, she's hot, oh yeah. She really rocks.
And that is the Fat City Band, folks. Wow, nice job, guys.
Right.
Well, you got to be back again. We got to do another song or two before this is over.
Absolutely.
All right, well, hang in there. Look who's with us. The newly crowned Mrs. Rhode Island 2015. Mrs. Rhode Island, America 2015, right? Now, we met, you were on my Toys for Tots, right?
Yes, I was.
And at the time, you were Mrs. Warwick.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
And now, when was it? A month ago, right?
A month ago today.
So I asked this question of all the contestants, all the pageant queens that have come on my show over the years, and I probably had every one of them in the last 20-something years. And the question I always ask is, did you know you had it?
Absolutely not.
No?
No.
Now, I wonder
For
what...
several reasons.
Oh, really?
Yes.
For several reasons.
Yes.
Do we want to get into that? No.
No, it's okay with me.
Yeah.
The first runner-up, Mackenzie Wilcox, had won.
Oh, she's adorable.
She's a beautiful girl.
She was Miss
inside and
Rhode
out.
Island. Oh, was she Miss Rhode Island or
She
Miss
might have
Runner-Up?
been, I'm not sure, but she might have
Adorable.
been.
She just had a baby. She got a
Yes.
little baby,
Yes.
a year old, I guess, a little over a year. She's a beautiful girl.
And she won the Amity Award and the Modeling Award. And then when I got up there with her, I thought I was staring at
The
Mrs.
winner.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So it was a complete surprise to me.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good that you were surprised.
I was.
Yes.
Sobbing.
Now, you're an attorney, right?
Yes, I'm an immigration attorney.
An immigration attorney.
Yes,
On
sir.
top of- What ancestry are you?
My parents are both from Ecuador.
Oh, wow, that's different.
Yes.
Wow.
It's very
I have a
nice.
friend in Ecuador.
You do?
I do. We'll talk about that off camera. I have a friend in Ecuador. Yeah, I've been around. I've traveled around a lot. I've been on 5 continents.
That's excellent.
Yeah,
I've only
yeah.
been on 2.
And I understand. We should get into this right away. I was shocked to find out. I can't believe this. The Mrs. America pageant is going to be in Russia.
It is.
Not the Miss World.
No.
The Miss America pageant. Now, usually you have it in Atlantic City or Vegas or Florida.
It was
or-
in Tucson, Arizona last
Right,
year.
right, yeah, which was kind of crazy in August, Tucson,
Yes,
Arizona. I mean,
that
come
dry
on,
heat.
who's thinking? Can you imagine that, guys? Imagine having a pageant in Tucson, Arizona in the middle of August. Who picked that venue? I love when people say, well, everything's air conditioned.
Yeah, well.
So this time, it's in September?
It is. It's September 26th.
My birthday's the 24th, so talk to the pageant people who do a Bob's Big Adventure in Russia. Plus, I can show you around because I've been to Russia twice.
Beautiful, so you can help us.
That's right. Russia's a interesting place, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Now,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, that's pretty cool. Now, had you ever been in a pageant before the Warwick pageant?
Yes, I did a few pageants about a decade ago.
Right.
And then I did one with Ray and Elaine Paolo. They
Oh,
did
yeah.
Miss New England States at the Alpine Country Club in November.
Uh-huh.
And that was my first time back in a pageant in a very long time. So I wanted to see what it was like. And actually, I was there last year at the Mrs. Rhode Island pageant.
Right.
I watched Adrienne Norberg be
Who's
crowned.
been on the show a couple times. Yes.
She's amazing.
A peach.
An
What a
amazing
peach.
woman.
Beautiful woman.
And my sister, my husband, and I went to watch the pageant. And that night, I decided I was going to lose 30 pounds plus 5 dress sizes and compete
And you're a
this
tall
year.
girl. How tall are you?
I'm 5'11".
5. Yeah, that's. And they should have more of that in Rhode Island. A lot of times they have girls that are undersized, unfortunately. But although what the heck's her name? Coppola.
Oh, Olivia Coppola.
Olivia,
Yeah.
she won it all.
Yes, she
and
did.
she's only about 5'3".
She's a
right?
peanut, yes, but beautiful.
She's adorable, absolutely adorable. Yes.
Yeah.
So you're an immigration attorney.
I am.
How long have you been an attorney?
4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. And I work with my husband.
And, that was my next question. So her husband's a lawyer too, Paul. 2 lawyers. How does that happen? Any children?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we do plan on having children
Uh-huh.
when this is all over.
Now, do you fight often being lawyers? I know lawyers usually have to win. They always want to win. Is he an immigration lawyer also?
He does do a lot of immigration.
Right.
He does more state stuff, so workers' compensation, personal injuries,
Okay.
stuff like that. We argue, but not to the point of fighting.
No.
He's my best friend.
Oh, well, that's
so,
good.
Yeah,
That's good.
we met in law school, so
Oh.
it's been a nice ride.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you're from the area. Where are you from originally?
I'm from North Providence
Right.
originally, and now I live
Okay.
in Warwick.
Uh-huh. Now, what's the cause? Everybody has a cause. What's your cause?
It is the Blue Heart Campaign.
Which is?
This is awareness and prevention of human trafficking on our
God, yes.
borders and in our ports.
Well, you're going to the right place in Russia, by the way.
Exactly.
That's one of the homes of human trafficking.
Exactly.
It really is. I mean, I saw that firsthand when I was there.
And it's something that affects all countries.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a very important cause, and I'm glad to be involved in it because I do have the immigration background.
Yes, well, that's got to look weird or feel weird for you. You're going to a country like Russia that's a pretty repressive country again.
I know it.
I was there right after it broke. The Communist Party was, sent packing, but now this guy's Putin taking it over again. He's moving it right back to.
But we were promised a pageant of peace and prosperity.
Oh, God.
So we are all
where do you go
looking
through
forward.
customs? Where do you go through customs in Russia? That's all I got to tell you. Really, it's a different. It is
I'm
a
sure.
different world. Especially if you haven't traveled, it's a different world in Russia.
I'm sure.
It really is.
My
Now,
husband's so looking forward to it.
What city in Russia?
It's in Moscow and Sevastopol.
Oh, that's a new one on me. I know where Moscow. Obviously, I've been to Moscow, and I've been to a country. I was in Usk-Kamenogorsk, Kazakhstan, also.
Oh.
And it's weird that I remember that town, but that was in Kazakhstan. The movie
Yes.
with Burke.
Yeah.
I actually went to that country.
Really?
Yes, and way out there, and that would be eastern Russia, the very end of Russia. It was right on the border of Mongolia and China and Kazakhstan. In fact, we tried to get across the border. I wanted to go to Mongolia, and I couldn't, and China, and I couldn't.
They wouldn't let you in?
Right in the corner. No, you have to have visas in those countries.
Oh,
You have to have a visa, by the way. You got to have a visa to go to Russia,
Yes, we are on it.
Yeah,
we are on it.
And it's like $150 the visa to go to Russia. I bought one a couple years ago and ended up not going because I ended up tied up with the old knee, so I couldn't go. But I had bought the visa because I had planned on going to
Yes,
Russia.
yeah.
So you talk to them about going. Now, what is your favorite food?
Anything on Federal Hill.
Anything on Federal Hill. I was there today, by the way. I love all the delis on Federal Hill.
Yes.
I love the Italian restaurants too, but I like the delis. A lot of times I eat alone, so I'll grab something. I'll go Tony's Colonial, and then I'll go across the street to Roma, and I'll go down the street to Venda, and I'll grab something from each one of them. And in fact, I give John a couple pieces of pizza from Roma. Roma has an awesome pizza. It's a
Yes.
heck of a deal too.
Roma's very special to me, very special to my heart.
Oh yeah?
When I was a lowly paralegal, I worked right near Federal Hill, so I had lunch on Federal Hill every day.
Did you?
Yes.
See my buddy Dominic over there at Roma.
Yes,
Dominic
yes.
runs Roma. All right, so you're going to hang around with us for a while, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, and don't forget, September 26th, 2 days after my birthday. What a birthday present, me going back to Russia. Bob goes back to Russia. How's that, huh? Well, we're going to have another song from the Fat City Band, and we're going to come back with another special guest, but you're hanging around because I want you hanging with me tonight.
Okay.
And we got two special guests. We got one all right guest, but then we got a special guest with us tonight. So, Paul, you're going to give us a song there, the Fat City Band.
Let's try another one off of our latest
That was
CD.
good. That was good. I
Song
like
called
that.
Sink Like a Stone.
All right.
I see it in your eyes. Something just ain't right. Time to agonize. I feel the ends in sight. And I sink like a stone. 'Cause I know I'm losing you. I'm living with regret. Must have missed a warning sign. Guess I'll have to pay my debt. We're at the end of the line, and I sink like a stone, 'cause I know I'm losing you. I walk the streets bus at night to clear my head. Through rain and fog I go like the walking dead. There's no escape to faint no matter what I do. I guess I'll always be in love with you. Where do I go from here? My world is upside down. I gotta stay afloat or I'm sure to drown. But I sink like a storm 'cause I know I'm losing you. My world is upside down. I gotta stay afloat, but I'm sure to drown. And I sink like a stone, 'cause I know I'm losing you. I'm losing you.
The Fat City Band! And we're back. Who have I got with me? Who's this?
This is Anna. She's the star of the show.
She is the star of the show. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
How old are you?
I'm 11.
11 years old. And you must be a Block.
Yes.
Anna Block. You get that all the time? The people know who you are? Sometimes. You got to say yes. Yeah, you got to say yes. Ken Block's with us tonight, folks. Ken, how you doing?
Fine.
How you doing? How you doing?
Nice to see you.
Do you remember the last time you were with me?
I do. We were actually at the Epic
Recovery Center,
Recovery
yeah.
Center, that's right.
Recovering from my wonderful knee problem.
How do you feel?
I've been better.
Okay.
I've been better. It's not there yet. We're not there yet. Anyway, how you doing?
I've been very busy these days, but I'm doing very well. Very well. There's a lot going on in Rhode Island, and
Sure is.
I'm focused in on as much of it as I can do, and still do my day job too.
And how do you think the governor has done, Governor Raimondo? How do you think she's done in her first,
So
100
we're, about
days?
105 days or so.
Yeah, something
and,
like that, yeah.
as someone who was imagining and preparing to do the job,
Right.
I can appreciate how hard that first 100 days was, and we're getting through it. And the real test is going to be what happens at the end of the session in another 2 months or so. So
Yep.
that's what I'm looking at to see how we're doing.
Well, the session means so much because people that don't know politics don't realize that the governor really doesn't have an awful lot of power, or it doesn't have the power they should have. Let's put it that way. The legislature controls everything, and I find it so sad that the person, like for instance, when Gordon Fox was I make reference to Gordon Fox only because he's the last Speaker of the House. When he was the Speaker of the House, he was elected by less than 5,000 people. Right. And he had control of the purse strings of the state of Rhode Island. He had control of the majority of the power of the state of Rhode Island. And the only people he was obligated to answer to were the people in his district in Fox Point, which makes absolutely no sense. Especially when the governor, I was going to say the governor normally usually gets 125, 150,000, 175,000 votes. This last, not this race, but the race before that, the Chafee race, it was only 35% of the vote, 37% of the vote, whatever it was. But how do you not give the guy that got 175,000 people, 150,000 people to vote for him, not have nearly as much power as the guy that got 4,998 votes he got?
Right. It's that's one of the weirdnesses with the way our government works and the way a lot of state governments work. But the reality is that the Speaker has a very powerful job, and in Rhode Island, we know that relative to most other states, the governor is less powerful than most other states.
Second weakest in the country.
And interestingly, it's a good segue to one of the projects that I'm working on.
Exactly.
Right now. So,
which is
trying to bring the light item veto to Rhode Island's governor. So
explain the line item veto.
She could probably do it just about as well as I can.
I'll bet she can.
I'm going to give it a whirl here for you.
No.
What the light item veto is the ability for a governor to go
the
through
light
a budget.
line item veto. Yes.
Is the ability for the governor to go through a budget and take individual elements of that budget and say that's out, that's out, that's out.
Right.
Now we don't have that in Rhode Island.
Right.
But
how many states do?
44 other states in the country have a governor's light item veto, and I argue
44 out of 50.
Out of 50. We still have 50 states.
50 states, right?
Last time I checked.
Okay, good. So we have 44 other states that have it.
Wow, only 6 states.
Only 6 states
don't have it,
and it kills us because, as anyone who pays any attention knows, all of the devil details come inside the budget. Right.
Right.
And especially in a state like Rhode Island,
and a lot of things can be hidden in there. That's right.
We need a check and a balance. We don't have it. I see this issue as clearly as we had with the master lever last year.
Right.
Which
finally, it's got to be.
Only 11 states have the master lever now. Thank God we got rid of it when we did.
Wow, finally.
Right?
It didn't even apply. It still applied in the last election, though.
That's right, but that's no longer now.
No longer
it's no
next
longer
year.
Now. So this is a really important reform. It's a good government issue. And when we get the governor's light item veto, we give more power to Rhode Island's governor, who, as you've already very clearly pointed out, is the only statewide elected official involved in the budget process. Right now, the governor can only approve or reject a budget. The governor can't go in and take it apart.
And this is where they put their good things that help their friends and their buddies. They can load it up.
All the bad stuff gets buried into the budget.
Right.
We need this reform. It's a no-brainer for us to get it done. We're going to press. We're going to do what needs to be done. If it takes multiple sessions, we'll do it over multiple sessions. But we're going to get the light item veto for Rhode Island's governor, and then we'll have a much better run state once we do.
And you're doing that based on what the website is called?
Thank you. Yes. So
Watchdog.
So if you would like to help advocate to get the governor's light item veto, we have a website running which is www.lineitemveto.org, where you can go. You can spend 60 seconds. You can send an email to the governor, the speaker, and the Senate president. Tell them that you believe that they should allow the governor to have the light item veto, and 1,500 people have done that.
So it's line item veto.
Line item veto.
Line item veto.
Yeah, .org.
.org.
So we made it really simple, and it's very effective at pressuring our elected officials to do the right thing.
And you also have another a website, the Watchdog.
Right. So that's a big conversation for us to have. After the campaign, what I realized was so many of our elected officials make really important decisions without any data to back up those decisions, right? I mean, it's almost like taking shots in the dark. They make monumental decisions without the data to back up what it is that they're doing.
Right.
And I thought what's lacking and what I could do, especially because I'm a computer guy, I'm a data guy, I said, let's create a nonprofit whose mission is to go out and do the research on really important issues and provide the data to our elected officials so that they can make decisions not in the dark, but they can make decisions with
Based on something. Based on fact.
Honestly researched fact.
Right.
All right. So we fired up this organization at the end of last year, and we picked as our first project a real doozy. We decided to look at the cost of fire protection in Rhode Island. Because as a candidate for governor, as someone who's paid a lot of attention to issues that affect us, I've heard a lot of people say, well, Rhode Island is one of the highest costs of fire protection in the country. But no one really was able to bring forward any data that said whether that was true or not true. Now,
So is it true?
well, it is true, but so let's talk about that. So we have 39 cities and towns in Rhode Island.
Right.
Would you like to take a guess as to how many operating fire departments we have in Rhode Island?
Well, it would make sense. 39?
You'd think there'd be 39. There are 66.
Cut it out.
There's 66 operating fire departments. Now,
How many are volunteer, though?
but they still have fire trucks and they still
that's
go
right,
do their
right,
thing,
right.
okay? Now, we have another dozen or so fire departments that don't put out fires.
What do they do?
Some of them own beach clubs and some of them run water districts, but we call them fire departments because they used to be fire departments back in like the 1900s, all right?
Okay.
We're going to ignore
Horse
those
and
guys.
buggy
So
days,
yeah,
yeah.
so we don't really have to worry about them. So we asked all 66 fire departments for data. We wanted to know how many men they have or women, how many fire trucks, how much money they spend. We have a pretty detailed set of information. And then we were able to compare Rhode Island towns to each other, and we could compare Rhode Island to other similarly sized places around the country.
Right.
So let's jump right to that, because that's where the really interesting data is, okay? So Rhode Island, for the band out of Boston,
Right.
so we're 1,000 square miles down here, right?
1,000 square miles
we have
and a million people.
We have
Just
about
under a million
just over a million, about a million
over-
50, million.
Oh, we broke a million
50,000.
again?
Yeah, we're over a million again. If you literally take the eastern half of the state, it's about 500 square miles. We have 900,000 people who live in the eastern part of Rhode Island. Now, that makes us the same size roughly as Dallas, Texas.
Right.
It makes us the same size as Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay.
Okay? We have more fire stations and more fire engines in the eastern half of Rhode Island than Dallas and Phoenix combined. Okay? We have more fire stations and more fire engines in the whole state of Rhode Island than Los Angeles.
Cut it out.
It's true.
Then Los Angeles.
Yes. We have as many fire engines. Now, that's different than a ladder truck, but a fire engine,
Right.
we have as many fire engines in Rhode Island as the New York City Fire Department has. Okay?
Wow.
So when you look at the cost of fire, we are, compared to Dallas, Dallas is 1/3 the cost to fight fires
The whole city of
in the
Dallas.
whole city, okay? Now, they have 1.5 million people.
Right.
And in our eastern half, we have 900,000 people. In Phoenix, they have double our population. And it's the same size, square miles, and it costs them as much to protect double the population as we do in metropolitan Rhode Island, okay? So the answer is yes. And in fact, when we looked at what it costs for a family of 4, to what we pay for in fire,
Sure.
there was no other part of the country that we could find that came anywhere close to Rhode Island. The cost in Rhode Island is over $1,200 for a family of 4 every year, what we pay for fire.
And what's the average in the country?
So, there is no real average, but you have to try and find comparisons that
Sure.
come close. In Fairfax County, Virginia, there are about 1 million people and about 500 square miles. The cost for a family of 4 is about $400.
1/3.
Yeah, that's 2/3. Right, they're $400. We're $1,200.
No, they're
Right.
1/3 our budget.
They're 1/3. That's right. So, so the bottom line is, it's true. that we spend a lot more than for fire here than anywhere else that we can find.
And is there any one thing that you can put your finger on, the cause of that?
Well, there's a bunch, but
I can think of one right off the top of my head.
Go ahead. What's your idea?
Minimum manning.
Minimum manning is yes, it's one explanation for it, but a bigger one is the town of North Kingstown just won a court case where the Supreme Court in Rhode Island said you guys can choose how you want your shifts to look like for your fire department, because most Rhode Island towns run essentially 4 different shifts for the firefighters, 4 platoons. And North Kingstown won a court case where they could go down to 3. That change over 6 years saved that town $13 million. And it's not a big town. It's a pretty
Over
small
how
town.
many years?
Over 6 years. Okay?
Saved $13 million.
They saved $13 million by making that change.
That's $2 million a year, a little over $2 million a year.
75% of the fire departments in the United States run on that system that North Kingstown just changed to.
The 3.
So,
3 shifts.
and most of the Rhode Island fire departments don't run that way.
Right.
Make that change across the board, you squeeze a whole lot of cost out of the way we do fire. That's just one gigantic example of when we do things differently than the rest of the country, you have to scratch your head and say, is that right? I mean, you know, right? I mean, and that really is what's important here, right? What we have to do is take a look at what we're doing. Does it make sense with the way the rest of the country is doing it? And when it doesn't, maybe we have to consider doing it differently. And in this case, we can take a lot of cost out of the cost of fire by simply making the way we operate look like the way many other states operate.
But the question is, how do you implement it?
Well, the great thing is, having lost the election, I get to, through this nonprofit, identify the problems and lay them out there, and then let our elected officials fight the fights to figure out how you have to fix it. Well, you know, but you know what? They actually really have to, because we have high property taxes here in this state. We have amongst the highest property taxes in the country. This kind of thing is what drives that cost of property taxes. And for all you Rhode Island viewers out there, I can guarantee you every one of them hates the car tax.
Right.
They hate it.
Myself included.
You
yes.
fix the cost of fire, you drop the cost of the car tax tremendously.
What percentage of a city's budget goes into fire protection? Do you know?
In every city's budget, by far the biggest expense is schools.
Right.
It makes everything else pale in comparison.
Exactly.
But statewide, Rhode Island spends about $320 million a year on fire protection. Statewide,
$320 million?
million a year. That's a lot of zeros.
$20 million a year.
Now, imagine that we could save a third of that. Can you imagine that much money?
Yeah,
I can't imagine that much money.
That's $107 million. A third of that.
That's right. Now, that's real money.
I'm pretty good at numbers too, by the way.
That's real money no matter what way you cut it, right? So you have to try and save that money.
Right.
And by the way, how much money do you think the car tax raises statewide every year?
100 million?
About 150 million.
All right, so yeah.
So you could whack the car tax
yeah.
almost just by going after and fixing the cost of fire.
Wow.
So you have to do it. So my job is to make everybody aware, explain it in terms that even a Sharpie like this one can understand, right?
Now, what grade are you in?
I'm in 5th grade.
You're 5th grade. How does it feel with a dad like this guy? With the numbers guy he is, you know?
Sometimes it's the worst because at the dinner table he's talking about all this numbers and I'm like, but then sometimes it's really cool because I get to understand things that most people in the 5th grade don't get to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You got a sharp dad here.
So now I'm going to embarrass her. She came back from the first day of school and says, Dad, guess what? There's a student council. I think I'm going to run.
She's got to run.
So she did. She comes home after winning the race. And she says,
no!
Get this. And she says, Dad, guess what? I said, what?
A block won.
She goes, she says, yeah, I won my race. I'm the first block to hold elected office in Rhode Island.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah, so this is my life, right? This is what I have to deal with. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
she dishes it out just fine. Just fine.
Now, I know you talked about in past elections. What'd you do with the state of Texas? Didn't you?
Yeah. So in my software business,
you analyzed the entire government or something. Didn't you? What did you do?
What
did you do?
So in my software business, we run and we wrote the software and we support the software that distributes the food stamp
Right,
benefits
right, exactly.
to food stamp recipients in the state of Texas. We distribute somewhere between $6 and $8 billion a year
Wow.
to roughly 4 to 6 million people, depending on the year in Texas. The same software is in use in Puerto Rico, and it's really what I've done for about 20 years with our business.
Now, didn't you offer that to the state of Rhode Island?
One of the things that we have become very good at in our food stamp work is we're able to find waste and fraud in social service spending programs. And we offered to the state of Rhode Island for free to do that kind of analysis in 2012. We did. And we produced a report that we gave to the governor at the time, and he promptly tried to just stick it in a drawer and forget about it. But there was a lot that was in there, and we identified a tremendous amount of savings that could be had if you went after some of the fraud that was out there.
But no, it's like they don't want to do it. It's like people.
It's
don't
politics.
Of course, it's politics.
It's politics, right? I mean, I'll tell you, the world will be a much better place without politics.
Well, politicians too, right?
Or politicians too, yeah, indeed.
About politics and politicians, right?
I don't know.
So you're a politician now. You can't say that. You're a politician now, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
She
you
is.
are.
She's going to be deadly.
Well, look, we're going to come back to you in a minute. We're going to go to the band again, and we're going to come back, and we want to talk about the Pawtucket Red Sox.
Oh,
Since
great.
this show is filmed, taped, whatever you want to call it, in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, has been for 23 years. May 29th is my anniversary, by the way. May 29th is the 23rd year. Paul Redmond.
Yes, sir.
May 29th, 1992 was my first show.
Yesterday.
Was my first show.
Great.
Here, doing this particular show. I've done other shows before that, but this is my first show. Bob's Big Adventure was May 29th, 1992.
Congratulations. Continued success.
And which is it? Today is what? The 21st, right?
21st.
So this will air the second or third time on my anniversary. All right, what are you going to sing for us there, Paul?
A song entitled Good Time Guaranteed.
Good times guaranteed.
Yes, indeed.
The Fat City Band, folks.
2, 1, 2. There I am, girl, and it's you I'm coming to see. I said, here I come, girl, and it's you I'm coming to see. I need some good time loving, and you're a good time guarantee. You got the seal of approval, girl, I don't need no warranty. You got the seal of approval, girl, I don't need no warranty. Just some good time loving, and you're a good time guarantee. Say you're a good time guarantee. Say you're a good time guarantee. A good time loving, you're a good time guarantee. Glory, Now when I'm with you, you know I'm
Fat City Band, folks. Nice job, guys. Nice job. Wow. Hey, and you're a former, well, not a former, you play the sax?
I'm a semi-retired saxophonist. I haven't dug it out of the closet for about a decade. But I did play, Brass Attack played our wedding, and as a surprise for all the guests, we worked up a couple songs, and most of the guests had never heard me play. And we took the whole thing out, blew everybody away. It was really fun.
Oh,
but,
cool. Yeah, that's nice.
That was about 15 years ago, and it hasn't
And
happened
you
since,
play
so.
what?
The trombone.
Yeah, how long you been playing the trombone?
Not even a year.
Yeah? Any good?
I think so.
All right.
hope
That's the way it's
so.
supposed to, right? You're supposed to say that anyway, right? I'll bet you are. I'll bet you are. All right, two things. I did say we're going to talk about the Pawtucket Red Sox, but before we do, while they were playing, we were talking. It's always been a dream of mine to travel the United States because I think tourism is the #1 industry in the state of Rhode Island, yet we only spend, which this drives me up a wall, we only spend $400,000 a year totally on tourism, and I can't even tell you where that money, even that little money is spent because you don't see it.
Right.
I believe that for 23 years, I've done more for the state of Rhode Island for nothing to promote the state of Rhode Island in the 40-something states I've been to in the country, plus in the other 30 or 40 countries in the world I've been to promote the state of Rhode Island. I always had a dream of one day getting a Winnebago or a big bus and traveling the country with brochures and all literature about Rhode Island and go around the country hitting every state with a painted up bus about Rhode Island. Come join us, the biggest little state in the union. Remember that?
Right. Yep.
That was a great promotional, what do you call it, advertisement or
Yeah.
whatever.
Great marketing.
Great marketing. And they don't use it anymore. I think, and right now, and it came to mind again because I have an opportunity to buy it's about 10 years old, a Winnebago, but it's only got 30,000 miles on it, one owner Winnebago, at a good price for under $60,000.
You're not buying it. It's not a member of the General Assembly selling it to you.
No,
is it?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right, just checking.
I could see that being decked out about Rhode Island, Ocean State, Rhode Island, and traveling around the country. Come follow me to Rhode Island. Say something, some kind of catchy phrase, and drive into every state, and then make a deal with every state tourism board and say, look, we will promote you in our video if you promote us. And go to every state in the United States. I could do that for little money.
Yeah. It'd be more effective than what we're doing right now.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Because all I need is a driver, a cameraman, and myself.
Yeah. So you're right on the issue because how do we convince people to come to Rhode Island who don't even know where it is if we're not talking to them?
Exactly. And you know what troubles me the most? If you'll learn this as you get a little older, you go to other states and you tell them you're from Rhode Island, especially when you get out of New England, you say you're from Rhode Island, what do they tell you? What do you say?
Long Island.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
Long
you're from
Island.
New York.
Yeah.
You're from New York. You're one of those abrasive people from New York. And
Well, I'll bet the band thought they were going to Islip, right?
Yeah,
They ended up here instead, right?
Rhode Island. Long Island. Anyway, speaking of Rhode Island, and a very big part of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, has been the Pawtucket Red Sox.
No doubt.
And now I find I'm a Pawtucket guy. People know that follow the show. I've lived in Pawtucket just about all my life. And I'm disturbed with this whole thing about moving the stadium to Providence. First of all, it makes no sense.
Right.
We already spent $15 million doing over McCoy Stadium. And they claim, there's not enough stuff going on around McCoy. Okay, instead of giving them guys $4 million a year or $5 million a year for 30 years, why don't you spend $4 million? For $4 million, you could build up the area around McCoy Stadium, one shot. And by the way, if we're going to give somebody $4 million a year, we should have a piece of the team, I would think.
Right. So I'm a technology guy, right? That's
Yep.
what I do. I do tech businesses. What I wouldn't give to start up an $85 million business, and I can find investors to get $85 million
Right.
together, as long as the state paid me $120 million over 30 years.
To do it. We'll do that. Let's do it. Why
I'd do that
not?
in a
How can you
heartbeat.
miss?
You can't miss. And by the way, I would create 30 jobs that would be very high-paying jobs for
Right,
that kind of
right.
money, right? I mean, it's a bad setup.
What are you
it's
gaining?
really-
It's in Pawtucket already. The team's here. They won the International League World Series last year for the second time in 3 years or 4 years.
It's really disappointing to hear the framework of this deal. We deserve, as Rhode Islanders, a lot better than that. We just do. And it's my hope that the Red Sox management rethinks and reconsiders what it is that they're offering to us, because what we need is having the team as a psychic boost to us.
Right,
We
right.
want to
Yeah,
have
okay,
that.
I
We
agree
deserve
with
to
that.
have all of that.
I agree with that.
But there's no way we can afford to spend $120 million to keep the team here. In fact, I don't imagine there's anywhere else in the country that can spend that kind of money for a minor league.
Or would spend that kind of money.
Right.
Almost like what Schilling did. He came to Rhode Island because Massachusetts wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's the same scenario.
We can't take another beating from another Red
No.
Sox-based thing. We just
No,
can't.
no.
We really can't. We really can't.
But it's amazing to me, especially when they say, well, they got the statistics who show this, and they got the research, but the research never pans out. It never ends up what they're saying comes true. It never happens. And on top of it, then they're saying, oh, we're going to keep the prices the same as they are. Sure they are. And we're going to keep parking the same as $2 or $3. Sure they are.
Yeah.
Why don't they put that in writing? Put that in writing, and maybe I'll think about. I'll have a different attitude, but I doubt it.
Look, we love going to the Paw Sox games.
That would never happen in
And,
Providence.
Yeah, we love it. We need to keep that team here, but they're making it impossible for us to keep them the way they're doing it.
You tell me how many families. I go to McCoy Stadium all the time. I was there for opening day game. You tell me, I talk to a lot of families. They will not go into Providence at night to watch a game with young kids. They just won't do it. I mean, they're saying, well, people go to the restaurants and go up on the hill and go here. Yeah, some people will, but the majority of the families are not going to go up on the hill with 2 or 3 young kids, teenage kids or younger. They're not going to go up on the hill and spend $200 for a meal for 4 or 5 people. They're not going to do it. They're going for hot dogs and potato chips.
Fancy meal for us, Newport Creamery.
Yeah, that's a good one, huh? Well, that's Rhode Island. That's
right.
Rhode Island.
That's right.
So we're in the same boat or in the same mindset as far as the Pawtucket Red Sox.
Yeah. I really want to see them stay, but they're just making it really hard for us to do anything but say take a hike.
Yeah, sad but true. Sad but true. Well, I'm glad you could make it over here tonight, huh?
Thrilled we can come. What do you think?
What am I supposed to think?
It's your first TV. It's your first TV interview.
Is this your
Come on.
first TV appearance?
I think so.
I got Mrs. Rhode Island still here. I got to get Mrs. Rhode Island back up here to join us because we're going to say goodbye in a couple of minutes. It's your first. What do you think of your first TV appearance?
It's different than I thought it would be.
Why is it different? It's bad, good, and different? What is it?
What is it?
It's cool.
It's
It's
cool?
cool.
Yeah, more interesting than I thought it would be. And then I just
More
like-
interesting, huh?
I
Oh, you thought
yeah.
you thought it was going to be a dud, huh?
She sees me on the Sunday news shows, right? So this is much better than that, right?
Yeah?
The Sunday news shows, they don't have bands like this. I'll tell you that right now.
That's a good
Yeah,
band, though.
That's a
huh?
good band.
That makes the night a lot better. These guys are great. They're going to take us out in a couple minutes. Well, what do you think, Mrs. Rhode Island?
I'm going to go see them on May 2nd at Chang's.
You are?
Absolutely.
Wow, you got that connection. How do you like that, huh? How do you like that? We'll be there. At Chang's, and then they're going to be down in Jamestown. My son lives in Jamestown, and they're going to play at the Narragansett Cafe in Jamestown. You ever been there?
I haven't.
No?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But you will be.
I will be.
She's going, Cody, what do you think of her going to Russia? What do you think of that?
I think it's awesome. Represent us well, please.
I will.
Great.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, I want to part of that. I want to go to Russia. I want to go
Big
back to
adventure.
Russia for my third Bob's Big Adventure in Russia. In fact, I'm going to re-air my trip to Russia on Bob's Big Adventure. Huh, John? We got to break out the old tapes. I was there. The first time I went to Russia was right after they broke the Communist Party there, 1995. I think I was there. 94, 95. I think the Communist Party got sent back in 92 or 93, and I was there right after that. And it was still working things out over there. So it was like Dodge City. That's what it reminded me of. And then I was there a few years later, but we just went through Moscow. We stayed there. I'll tell you what, we stayed at the Belgrade Hotel. It was in the dead of winter, and the heat didn't work in the hotel. And it was in February. Yes, it was so cold. It was unbelievable. I slept. I said, oh, I'll be cool. I'll go in the shower and turn the hot water on the shower. No hot water. Yeah. So I literally slept in all my clothes, coat and everything, in a hotel. And this is not a little dumpy hotel. This is right across from the Kremlin. It was the Belgrade Hotel. And I'll not forget that. That was all ridiculously cold. And by the way, I also went to Kazakhstan during when they had the February 2nd, Groundhog Day.
Yep.
There's no groundhogs coming out of the ground there. It's the coldest place on earth. Well, thank you for spending an
Thank
hour
you.
with Bob,
Happy to do it.
and thank you for spending an hour with Bob.
You're welcome.
And I hope to have you back here again.
I love coming on your show.
And I'd love to have you back again.
Yes,
Mrs. Rhode
absolutely.
Island, Cindy,
Rhode Island.
Cindy Burke, and the Fat City Band. Guys, thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank the band, all you guys. Thank you for stopping by and spending an hour with Bob. Can you take us out here?
I think we can.
All right? And folks, thank you for spending an hour with Bob. And don't forget the Fat City Band.
You want me, I want you, a done deal. You want me, I want you, a done deal. Well, I've been hoping just to see you again. I haven't seen you since who knows when. But both of us know what the deal is inside. It is what it is. There's nothing to hide. You want me, I want you, a done deal. You want me, I want you, a done deal. Plain and simple, it's not to dismiss. We know what we want, there's no need to guess. No need to stall, just follow my lead. You got what I want, I got what you need. You want me, I want you, done deal. You want me, I want you, a done deal. You want me, I want you, done deal. Something like this was just meant to be. It's no secret, it's just destiny. It's you for me, and I me for you. It is what it is. So who's kidding who? You want me, I want you, a done deal. You want me, I want you, a done deal.